Hello, Judge. My name is Jessica Siegel, and I am a sophomore at Binghamton University. I am arguing against the proposition stance that all prisons should be abolished. While I do understand that the current prison system is not perfect, I do not feel that abolishing them is the only way to fix the problem. I will offer a counterplan that could help fix the prison system, and it does not entail abolishing prisons entirely. Firstly, I'll start off by arguing against my opponent's procedural method. He spoke extremely fast, making it very hard to understand him and create arguments against him. I had to rewatch his film multiple times. Secondly, the proposition opening speech is supposed to be limited to 4 minutes. Meanwhile, my opponent spoke 20 seconds over the time limit, and I think this should be noted. Next, I would like to offer my counterplan. As my opponent stated numerous times, we do not live in a perfect world, and a ton of racism still exists today. A lot of crimes that are committed are racial hate crimes. Because this is such a prevalent problem, I propose that all prisons should be abolished except for those housing people who commit hate crimes. This will greatly lower the prison population, which is also a huge problem with prison systems today. So therefore, my counterplan will help the current system today while fixing the problem that my opponent stated. If all prisons are abolished like my opponent believes, then people who commit hate crimes will still be on the streets, and the problem of racism will only magnify. My plan will help to eliminate the amount of racism by incarcerating those who perform racial hate crimes. My opponent's plan will just release people who are incarcerated for racial hate crimes back into the streets, furthering the problem that exists in our society today. My plan will eliminate them from our society to make it a better one. Furthermore, this means people who are being arrested for minuscule crimes, such as marijuana use, will be fined instead of incarcerated. According to the Federal Bureau of Investigation's annual Uniform Crime Report, about 750,000 people were arrested for marijuana law violations in 2012. This is a substantial number of people who will no longer need to be imprisoned. To restate my counterplan, only those who commit racial hate crimes will be incarcerated in prisons, and people who commit less serious crimes, such as marijuana violations, will receive fines instead of being held in prisons. This will limit racism and lessen the amount of people in our prisons today. Lastly, my opponent stated that reforms are not successful, and therefore all prisons should be abolished. I would like to argue against this statement. For example, according to a recent article published in the News Republic, one of the most successful prison reforms of the past 4 years has been made in 2015. Some advancements include, but are not limited to, the mandatory sentencing minimums being modified and judges' discretion in sentences being expanded. Also, the adult prison population has been given enhanced access to educational resources, including a program that enables 2 charter schools in the state to go into prisons to teach inmates, and those participating earn a high school diploma instead of a GED. So there are reforms being made that have been proved successful, and this is just in 2015, so they're expected to continue in the future. To sum up my argument, I believe that the solution to the racial issue my opponent focused on would not be abolishing prisons entirely, but limiting prisons to people who commit racial hate crimes. This will decrease the bulky prison population and decrease the racism that exists in our world today as well. Thank you.